It's 2 a.m. You're staring at the ceiling, replaying a conversation from 3 years ago. You cringe at a word you used. You analyze the exact tone of someone's voice. You're exhausted, but your brain is running a marathon. You think you're broken. But neuroscience says your brain is actually doing something incredible. Society tells you to just stop worrying, or live in the moment, as if you have a switch. You don't. What you're experiencing isn't a defect, and it's certainly not a lack of willpower. It's a highly advanced, albeit exhausting, evolutionary feature. Today, we're breaking down the psychology of people who overthink everything, and why your brain absolutely refuses to turn off. Here's the thing. When you're lying awake at night, your brain isn't just randomly firing. It's running a specific network called the default mode network, or DMN. In most people, this network quiets down when they focus on a task. But in chronic overthinkers, the DMN is hyperactive. It's constantly scanning the past for errors and the future for threats. Psychologists call this hyperactive pattern detection. Your brain is essentially a high-performance supercomputer running background simulations 24/7. It's burning more glucose while you sit completely still than a non-overthinker does walking a mile. You aren't just thinking, you are simulating reality. And there's a specific reason for this. It's called the Zeigarnik effect. Discovered in the 1920s, it states that the brain remembers uncompleted or interrupted tasks much better than completed ones. For an overthinker, everything feels like an uncompleted task. That awkward pause in a conversation? Uncompleted. That email you haven't sent? Uncompleted. Your brain refuses to close the tab. It keeps the file open, demanding resolution, because to your nervous system, an unresolved social interaction is a lingering threat. And this shows up in ways you might not even notice. At work, you're the one who spots the flaw in the plan before anyone else. You sense the shift in a room's mood the second you walk in. While others are just reacting, you've already mentally mapped out 3 different outcomes. People might call you intense or paranoid, but what they're actually seeing is a deeply ingrained survival mechanism. You grew up or learned at some point that missing a detail had consequences. So now your brain treats every minor social interaction like a high-stakes negotiation. You are the ultimate simulator. But here's where it gets messy, because running these simulations takes a massive physical and emotional toll. You know that feeling of being physically tired but mentally wired? That's your nervous system stuck in a low-grade fight-or-flight response. Your chest feels tight, your breathing is shallow, you're exhausted from fighting battles that only exist in your head. And the worst part is the analysis paralysis. You want to send the text, make the call, take the risk, but your brain has already simulated 14 ways it could go wrong, and it hits the brakes to keep you safe. It's not laziness, it's your brain trying to protect you from a pain it vividly remembers. And let's be honest about the isolation it causes. When you live inside your head, it's hard to let people in. You filter every thought before it leaves your mouth. You rehearse conversations in the shower. You worry that if people saw the chaotic, spinning mess of your internal world, they'd run. So you present the calm, collected version of yourself while internally you're screaming. It's a lonely place to be, carrying the weight of 1,000 hypothetical scenarios all by yourself. It's a specific kind of grief, too. You grieve the version of yourself that could just exist without analyzing the existence. You miss the people who can just watch a movie without dissecting the cinematography or the actor's micro-expressions. You want to just be, but your brain is an engine that refuses to idle. It demands fuel. It demands problems to solve, even when there are none. But here's the beautiful part. If you can learn to steer this supercomputer instead of letting it steer you, it becomes your greatest asset. The same brain that tortures you at 2 a.m. is the one that makes you an incredible friend. You remember the small details. You anticipate what people need before they ask. You are the person who actually listens, not just waits for their turn to speak. Your empathy isn't just emotional. It's structural. You've built a mental framework that allows you to deeply understand the human experience because you've analyzed every corner of it. You aren't just an overthinker. You're a deep processor. You're the architect of outcomes, the silent protector of your circle. While others are sleepwalking through life, reacting to whatever happens next, you are already 3 steps ahead, quietly making sure the people you care about don't fall into the traps you've already mapped out. You aren't broken. You're just wired for depth over ease, for safety over spontaneity. The next time your brain starts spinning at midnight, don't fight it with anger. Acknowledge it. Thank it for trying to keep you safe, and gently remind it that you're okay right now, in this exact moment. If this hit home for you, please subscribe. And if you want to support these deep dives, hit that join button to become a channel member. I would genuinely appreciate your support. If you want to understand why your brain holds on to negative memories so much harder than positive ones, click this video next. You'll finally understand why the past feels so heavy and how to let it go.